Hey students, welcome back to another Coach Ian skateboarding tutorial. This week we have a request from a longtime viewer and a good friend of mine, Gabby. We're going to be working on frontside 180s. Now, as you know, you can't really take my course until you have the prereqs, right? And so the prereqs for a frontside 180, in my opinion, would be being able to be somewhat comfortable riding switch and having your ollies pretty good. I feel like you gotta have your ollies pretty set in stone before you can really move on to frontside 180s. So, first things first, let's talk about foot position. Now, when we're talking foot position, let's first talk about our foot position for ollies. So ollies, you know, you got your back foot, if you're regular like I am, on the back of the tail, right towards the edge. That's where I keep mine. And this, you know, somewhere underneath the bolts, right? You know, that's your ollie. That's simple enough, right? Right? We understand? Cool. So, what I like to do for frontside 180s, you don't have to do this. You can find your own, you know, personal preference for footing. But this is what works for me. And what I like to do is my back foot stays in the exact same place. This doesn't move. Nothing changes back here. But what I do with this is I start to stick my toes off a little bit. So that way, I'm still just doing an ollie, right? I'm still just popping and sliding. But when we start to rotate and we shift our shoulders and start to get that rotation, you're gonna want this to catch right here. Because if you're rotating and you're down here, it's gonna catch right here and you're gonna lose the board. It's gonna flip out like that. Just like that. Yeah, so that's why I like to hang my toes off just a little bit. It just catches the nose better. It really allows you to bring it around with your lower body. Now, what you really wanna focus on now that you have your foot position is you're gonna wanna focus on really building that momentum with your shoulders to get that whole 180 around. The hardest part about the frontside 180 is just getting that whole way around, right? Right? Wouldn't you guys agree? I would agree with that. I have no problem agreeing with that. But I digress. So yes, we agree the hardest part is getting all the way around, right? But if you know how to use your body and twist your momentum, that becomes the easiest part. Then what you got to focus on is what you're really doing with your feet. Because just like an ollie, you're going to want to have that pop and slide, right? The pop and also the slide. One more time. The pop, but also the slide. If you don't have the pop or the slide, you're not going to have, you might do the 180, but you're not going to have a proper, good-looking frontside 180. In my opinion, once again, these are all my opinions. So, you really got to make sure you have that pop, you have that slide, and remember, use your shoulders. Your shoulders are what you're going to be using to really get that momentum. The proper form you're going to want to follow is, let's say I'm skating towards the camera, and as I'm popping, my upper body should be opening. So if I imagine that the camera that's actually there right now is there whenever I'm doing a frontside 180, then what should happen is that when I pop, my front is open like this, right? And then when I'm coming up like this, my body is already going to be moving and then the board will follow. That right there is one of the most important things about frontside 180s, okay? We following along here? Your upper body leads your lower body. All the time I see people try and lead with the lower body and then their upper body they lose balance, they fall, they slip out. It's just not good. So, what the most important thing is learning, at least at first, because once you get really good, you can start messing around and tweaking them weird, but you should start with having your upper body lead your lower body. You can't do it all in one motion, and you definitely can't lead with your lower body. So really make sure that you're leading with the upper body. That right there might be the #1 most important thing about frontside 180s. Again, in my opinion. That's right. Skateboarding is all personal preference. If my tips don't work for you, hopefully you find something that does work, you know? you know? I know. That's what I've been doing my whole skateboarding career. This is, what is this, some kind of joke to you? You think this is a joke? Ugh, disgusting. But, you know, sometimes, man, I get a little frustrated, but, you know, I'm just trying to spread the skateboarding knowledge and really give you the tools you need to do the tricks, right? So, now that we know the proper form, the proper foot position, it just comes to committing. And committing is something that has, you know, a well-known scholar in the skateboarding community. I can't really teach that. Nobody can teach commitment, right? That's just personal, that's mental, that's fear. And once you learn to just stick both feet on, whether you slip out, you fall, learning to fall can be one of the most useful things in skateboarding. But yeah, so once you figure out how to commit, you get over that fear, smooth sailing. They're gonna click, just like that, they're gonna click. And you're just gonna be having so much fun doing frontside 180s, you're not even gonna remember when you were falling, you're not even gonna be scared about it. And then, after you start getting them good on flat, you can start, you know, doing them with other obstacles, right? You can do it up a curb, you could do it off a curb. You got so many options with frontside 180s. Once you start learning to conquer stair, I mean, I've seen people do them into grinds, right? That bonkers, blows my mind what I see my students do. It's crazy. But yeah, that about wraps it up. I don't think I have really anything else to talk about. Once again, thanks for tuning in, class. It's really, you know, it really makes me feel good to see you guys come back each and every week for another one of Coach Ian's slamming tutorials. It means a lot to me. And if you guys could just click the link to donate directly to my PayPal, I could really use the money. Thanks again to Gabby for the suggestion. Yeah.